free the roads. Bulgy, the double-decker bus, had recently been put back on passenger services. However, he was finding it difficult to actually get anyone to ride in him, as the passengers preferred to travel by rail instead. One morning, Bulgy pulled into the parking lot at Maithwaite Station, scouting the platform for potential passengers.
"Hey, you there,"
he said to a man.
"Need a lift? My seats have been upholstered. Very comfortable they are."
"Sorry, Bulgy," replied the man, "but I'm waiting for the next train." Bulgy frowned as Percy cheerfully pulled in with some coaches. The passengers boarded the train, but just as Percy was getting ready to leave, he saw Bulgy had stopped in the middle of the level crossing, blocking his path. "What on earth are you doing?" he cried. "Get out of the way!"
"Free the roads from railway tyranny!"
shouted Bulgy. Just then, Bertie appeared.
"Not this nonsense again," he groaned. "Bulgy, you came back to help me, remember?"
Bulgy rolled off the level crossing, and Percy steamed angrily away.
"It's not fair,"
Bulgy grumbled.
"We road vehicles always have to play second fiddle to the railways."
"I think the problem might be you,"
Bertie replied sternly.
"You don't exactly have the most reliable track record when it comes to passengers."
"Neither do you, considering all the times you've bounced your passengers around like peas in a..."
"Don't even start,"
interrupted Bertie, and he left in a huff. Bulgy drove along the road, but he was still cross.
I'll show him,"
he muttered to himself. Bulgy approached an area where George was working.
"What's made you so grouchy?"
he asked. Bulgy explained everything. George smirked.
"Not to worry,"
he said.
"I think I've got a plan." "Go on."
"There's a swamp on the Kirk Roman branch that's filled with muddy water," the steamroller explained. "Just put a good amount of it into a few water towers along the line, and it'll be enough to cause any engine to break down. Then the passengers will have no choice but to ride in you." Bulgy grinned.
"Delightfully devilish,"
he replied with satisfaction.
"I'm in. Let's do it tonight."
That night, Bulgy went to the swamp. George's driver tagged along and brought some buckets with him. Then, after scoping the filthy water into the buckets, he placed them in the bus, who went all over the island to have the dirty water dumped into various water towers. Bulgy sniggered to himself. Now all he had to do was wait. The next morning, Thomas was at Farquhar taking on water in preparation for his first train of the day. However, he soon began to feel a little strange. "This water tastes funny," he said to his driver. The driver just ignored him, thinking it was nothing. But on the way to the junction, Thomas made awful clanking sounds and felt worse than ever. By the time they reached the junction, Thomas was in excruciating pain. "Your pipes are clogged," said his driver. "Oh no!" wailed Thomas. "Please don't tell me there's fish in my tanks again!" They ran Thomas, who barely had enough steam left, into a siding out of the way. And the firemen looked in the tanks.
"Well, the good news is there's no fish in there," said the driver. "But the water's all brown and chunky."
Across the island, Bulgy pulled into Knapford Station. The fat controller was flustered.
"Thomas's pipes are clogged again?"
"Yes," said the station master. "Bertie is taking his passengers from Elsbridge, and I've just received word that Gorn has broken down too. His passengers are stranded at Crovan's Gate."
"I could take his passengers,"
Bulgy piped up.
"Splendid idea,"
bellowed the fat controller.
"Thank you, Bulgy."
Bulgy picked up Gorn's passengers from the workstation and set off down the road. Gordon felt highly embarrassed. Bulgy, on the other hand, was quite pleased that he finally had people riding in him. He was making good time, and the passengers were having a very smooth ride. Then he saw Bertie, who had stopped on the side of the road, almost hidden in a cloud of smoke.
Engine trouble! coughed Bertie. My passengers now have no way of getting home.
I could take them,
said Bulgy.
I've got plenty of room.
So Bulgy set off with Bertie's passengers. But Bulgy didn't realize he had exceeded his loading capacity. To make matters worse, one of his axles broke, and he veered out of control into a ditch. Luckily, no one was hurt, but Bulgy's passengers were furious.
Why did I put that muddy water into the water towers?
He said to himself.
Ahem!
Said a voice.
Uh-oh. Did I say that out loud?
Bulgy stammered.
Yes, indeed,
thundered the Fat Controller.
You have caused a great deal of confusion and delay, Bulgy. Soiling the water tower is not what I brought you back for. I'm sorry, sir,
whimpered the boss pathetically. Eventually, Gordon, who was feeling much better, collected the passengers and brought them safely home. As for Bulgy, he was placed on a wagon. Thomas, who had also fully recovered, came to take Bulgy to the garage for repairs. You know, Thomas puffed, there's some delicious irony in this situation. Guess this means no more talking about freeing the roads, eh, Bulgy? Bulgy didn't say anything. He had a lot to think about.